okitwala olwaleero.
Amina.
Okay, welcome to this afternoon presentation about Wachitwala, about the miracles, signs, and wonders. It is so disappointing that things don't mean what the authors of those things meant. Many things don't mean what the original authors intended. You see, if miracles, if the word miracles is coming from the Bible, I don't know. I didn't cite the etiology of the word where it was first used. Yeah, but many people assume it comes from the Bible. The word, the meaning of the word miracle is from the Bible. So, but what we know about the word is completely different from what the Bible talks about the word. Yeah, so that's why Ivan was talking about Wachitwala. Yeah, yes. In the fellowships, yes, Chamagero, it's just come more of an advertising tool for churches and for preachers. Miracles, signs, and wonders. Someone just prints that. You come on such and such a day because there are going to be miracles, signs, and wonders. So as we begin, I would like you to know that we are going to see that the Bible is a book full of miracles. A lot of miracles. In fact, they are too much that you can easily think it's about miracles sometimes in some books. But the same book that is full of miracles desists. It runs away from presenting its hero. Its hero, I mean Jesus. If Jesus is the hero the Bible is presenting, the same book that is full of miracles is desisting from presenting him as a wonder-working Messiah. It runs away. The authors of the Bible, and we were going to do this in two parts, today and next Sunday. And the last part, especially we shall see on the book of Mark, the authors of the Bible are running away from that conception. They don't want Jesus to be known as a miracle-working Messiah.
Why?
To be conceived as a miracle-working Messiah. And it is so surprising that this idea not only comes to its climax in the New Testament, but it is birthed in the Old Testament. This idea, so in the New Testament, it's just a climax. It comes out clear that Jesus is dissociating. They don't want him to be known as a miracle-working Messiah. Although many preachers today present themselves as sent from who? From God, as miracle workers. Are you understanding how we are starting? Yes, many miracles today present themselves as sent from God as miracle workers. But the Bible, which is the basis of faith, as far as Christianity and maybe Judaism, part of it is concerned, does not present Jesus, who is its hero, as a miracle-working Messiah. Now, what is the definition? What is the contemporary definition of a miracle? Just begin from where we are. Different definitions. Now, generally, when I say generally, I'm talking about Wikipedia. Wikipedia, when you Google, generally, when you Google, Wikipedia will define, let me just be specific. Wikipedia defines a miracle as an event that seems inexplicable. Are you listening? An event that seems inexplicable. You cannot explain it. Why? Because it deviates from the rules of nature. It does not respect biology, nor does it respect physics or chemistry. Those are the rules of nature, the way things are supposed to be done. So an event that is you cannot explain using those rules is what is the general understanding of a miracle. Something new either in someone's life. You understand? That's the general understanding. Then we come to English. Now, how does English, formal English, does not perceive a miracle as something that breaks rules, natural rules? Formal English conceives a miracle as something unlikely. It's unlikely to occur. It can occur, but it's what? Unlikely. And therefore, examples like the tsunami or a flood came and all people died and one person survived. To formal English, that's a what? A miracle. It is unlikely, but it happened. And it did happen because the rules of nature were what? Were broken. You understand? So, we're seeing the first definition, disruption of the rules of nature. Then the second definition, something unlikely. Then the third definition is mathematics. Mathematics defines a miracle. Statistics. We have a subject in math dealing with dialing a dice. You all did math. Yeah? Calculate the probability that when a dice is tossed, the figure that appears is the 5. Then you calculate. So in mathematics, a miracle is also not something that disrupts nature, but is something that is rare. But it can happen if the events continue to increase. If the number of events continue to what? If you continue dailing the dice, if you continue to dail, the event will what? Will occur. So it's from mathematics that we get that phrase, 1 in a million. So in mathematics, a miracle is 1 in a million. Are you understanding? So it has nothing to do with supernatural. It's supernatural involvement, disruption of nature, but this is an event that takes long to occur. It's rare, but it can occur when events increase. Therefore, in mathematics, there are a lot of events that can increase, that can happen if a day is daily. On a day of a day, a lot of events can happen. Once the events cannot only not happen. I mean, you can fail to get an event if the day does not day. If a day does not day, I mean, it doesn't go ahead, like it stops at 7 a.m. and it ends there. But the moment a day will go for 24 hours, a lot of events can happen. Even those events that happen 1 in a million. That is math. Okay? So that's the definition of a miracle, according to math. You see? So now, we are coming to a point where the idea of a miracle is variety. We come to the Catholic Church, to religions. The Catholic Church, to call you a saint, for you to be called a saint, you must do at least 2 miracles. Yes. So miracles are not only in Balokole, Pentecostals, what and what. Even in the Catholic Church, they are there. But it's the council of popes that sits and satisfied that what happened was what? A miracle. What you did was truly a what? A miracle. So if you do 2 of them, you are a saint. You understand? So different religions will define this differently, will approach it differently. Now, we're not for religions, we're for Bible. we're for Bible, this is biblical studies, we're discussing Bible, and I want to understand the way God has presented himself. And the text we're beginning with as our main text is surprisingly Genesis chapter 8, verse 6. Genesis 8, 6.
8, 6.
8, 6. A very interesting
8, 6. 8, 6 RSV. At the end of 40 days, Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made.
No. 8, you start with 8, 21 and 22. It is 8, 22, but you start with 21. 8.
And when the Lord smelt the pleasing odor, the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground because of a man. For the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth, neither will I ever again destroy every living creature as I have done.
Now 22.
While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease.
Okay. Other versions will never cease. That as long as the earth endures. Okay? I want you to listen to this text. As long as the earth endures. While earth can go. Earth can go. But as long as it is still here, as long as it still does seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease. Will never cease. Now, what are we dealing with? This text, if you have been listening to teachers who try to give you the original context of the books in which they were written, when you listen to this text, you just know how it came about. You see, the book of Genesis is a story answering a question. So there are different questions that are being answered at different points in time. So when you read this verse, you just know the question that was asked. The question, this verse was an answer to a question. What was the question? And the question is common even up to now. We still come across people who ask us if the world, the way it is evil, the way the world is evil, and human beings in particular, the way we are evil, why can't God just come and destroy the whole of it, and wash the whole of it, and then start at something different? Now that the world is what? Is evil the way it is. So that was the same question that was asked at that time. And then the author told a story. Because Jews, to answer a question, they don't answer like mathematics or physics. They tell a story to answer a question. Yes. So the one who was asked that question, the elder said, in fact, such a thing has ever happened before. And God has ever destroyed the world before. So the author, the storyteller goes to Genesis chapter 6. Verse 5. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of their thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. The Lord regretted that he had made human beings on the earth, and his heart was deeply troubled. So the Lord said, I will wipe from the face of the earth the human race I have created, and with them the animals, the birds, and the creatures that move along the ground. For I regret that I have made them, but Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. So the elder was saying that at one point in time, everyone was what? Was evil. And the only person, the only family that survived, it survived by grace. Noah was not righteous. he survived by grace. You understand? So he's trying to say that. So he told them to construct a boat. So when he constructed the boat, he told them to put in all the clean animals and what? Non-clean ones. So then that family survived the end of the flood. Now, then we come to the context of our original text. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord. That is verse 20. Taking some of all the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed burnt offerings on it. The Lord smelled the pleasing aroma and said in his heart. Now, he's coming to why he's answering. You see how he's answering the question. Why doesn't God eliminate all these people? Since we are all what? Evil. Why doesn't it clean and start anew? So he's saying now, when he listened to that aroma coming from the barbecue, the trying to tell that God enjoys what? Barbecue. Coming from when he smelled the aroma coming from the barbecue, he said, never again, I want you to listen to the language, never again will I curse the ground because of humans. 2, even though, now you see, the question is, if we are all evil, why does it just destroy us? And then it starts what? Creates people. And even though every incarnation of the human heart is evil, from childhood, we are evil from childhood. Our inclination, that is, we are inclined to evil from childhood. We don't just start to become evil. If you associate evilness with miniskirts, my friend, before people began to put on, they were what? They were evil. Before people began to put on anything, they were evil. So the author, the storyteller in Genesis says that although every inclination of the human heart is evil from childhood, and never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. Then he goes to our verse. As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease. Now, why does he place much emphasis on these events? Seed time and what? And harvest, day and night. There's a meaning he attaches on them that we do not know. And that's what we are searching today. You understand? So he has first assured that man's destiny is God's destiny. Webuligwa katonda waligwa. Not the reverse. The reverse is not true. Katonda waligwa webuligwa lati. Katonda wagwa tosobola gwawo. What is again? So his destiny, man's destiny is God's destiny. God will always follow man, whatever he is. God has made up his mind. His mind is made up for you. He is not going to change because of what you took yesterday, the beer you took yesterday. This making up of his mind is in the past. You understand? God's mind is made up as far as you are concerned. Because he made up a mind as far as concerned. He knows from childhood you are inclined to what? To evil. So he's not going to change his mind because of anything you do. His mind is made up as long as the earth endures. God is for us forever. You understand? So he's saying that he's not going to destroy. So that's how the elder answered the question to the children, the young ones. God will never destroy. This elder had already analyzed God that he cannot destroy people. But he brought a story to answer the what? The question. You understand? Now we come to the second part. A miracle in the Bible is not an event that disrupts nature. You understand? But a miracle in the Bible is everything that testifies to the presence and purpose of God. Everything that testifies to the presence and the purpose of God is in the Bible. In the biblical conception of miracle, from beginning, from Genesis, everything that testifies to the presence of and purpose of God is a miracle. Now, I have underlined the word everything. Now we are coming. So now, when we come to the miracles that we know much, they are in the book of Exodus. The plagues, the so-called plagues. The plagues. Now, when you analyze the plagues, that's when we begin to come across the word sign. Remember, we're dealing with signs and wonders. The plagues that happened in Egypt, the Jews referred to them as signs and wonders. Whatever happened there was a sign and wonder. But what surprises us, that signs and wonders did not end in the plague seasons alone. I mean, in Egypt alone. But all over the Bible, they apply this word signs to almost every event. The word sign in the Bible is applied to the following. Let me sample. Number one, the rainbow. The rainbow is a sign. Is it a miracle today?
No.
Have they ever mentioned it in churches? That it is a miracle. You come and see the miracle. The rainbow? Do they mention a rainbow as a miracle in churches? In the Bible, a rainbow is a sign. It testifies to the presence and purpose of God. 2, the heavenly bodies, the stars, the words, the planets, their signs. 3, the birth of a child. Can you imagine?
Especially the son.
The birth of a child is a sign. So it is a sign. The seeming coincidence in the day's affairs. The coincidences in the day's affairs. You know, coincidence. You have grown up in one village. You are all in P7, and then somehow you all separate. Then after 30 years, you meet in the UK. You meet in the UK. You understand? That coincidence in the Bible, it is a sign. The coincidences that happen in what? For the Jews, for those things testify to the presence and purpose of God. The death of the firstborn in Egypt. The death. While these ones were crying, these ones were celebrating. That one was a sign. Restoring to health of leprous hand. A leper restored to what? To health is a sign in health. What about when pharmacists give antibiotics to these lepers? Is it a sign? Restoring in the Bible, restoring a leper's hand is a sign. So the question, what about a pharmacist who prescribes an antibiotic to these lepers and heals? Is it a sign? We continue. Turning water into blood is a sign. The retreat of the sun's shadow. Remember, somewhere in the Bible, the sun retreated. That is a sign. So what are we trying to say? We are saying everything is a potential sign according to the Bible.
Potential
sign. Whether it is ordinary or extraordinary. That's the conceptions of the writers of the Bible. Everything, all phenomenal, whether extraordinary or not, or ordinary, they are potential signs. Now, after everything has been a potential sign, he's trying to say in Genesis that as long as the earth endures, seed time and what? And harvest, day and night will never cease. Therefore, men may count on them. That's the point in Genesis.
Which is the wonder.
men may count on the on the what? On the regularities that we are in. You can sit down and plan for 10 years. Because seed time and harvest, day and night will never cease to happen. These are signs
which testify
to that God is not capricious.
What about the changing seasons? How do we explain that?
There are still seasons. There are still seasons.
But it is seed time, and what? And harvest. Yes, harvest is during the sun, not so. It is a different season. Harvest, there is no rain. But seed time, there is what? There is rain. Yes. So he's talking about, the first one is talking about seasons. Then the second one, when we go to day and night, it's going to talk that the regularities, although things are changing, but they change in such a way that they are regular. You may count on them. People may count on God for those things. So therefore, we're not dealing with a capricious God. Capricious means God is not volatile. Something volatile. Well, alcohol. When you pour alcohol here, when you pour a gallon of alcohol here, you don't have to mop. No, just go away for a few hours. You'll find nothing here. Because this is what? It evaporates, yes. So God is not volatile. God is not going to change tomorrow. Yes, He's not going to change. You are meant to count on God for your existence. He is regular. There is that constancy in the world that enables us to plan. Imagine people go to study. There at Mulago, we have students. People have been studying neurosurgery for 9 years. Can you imagine? Someone wants to be a neurosurgeon. He has been there for 9 years. You see? Because he can count on God, whether he believes in Him or not. He has set these things to be regular. They're not going to change. We're not dealing with a capricious God. He's not volatile. He's not going away. He's not changing his mind. He has made up his mind. As far as evil human beings are concerned, God is dependable.
Amen.
Yes, these signs are available to show that He is present. There is a purpose in it. So now the authors of the book of the Old Testament bring that clear. Now we're going to read a few verses to testify to this. Now, and we're going to see that these signs, they testify to the presence and activity of God, but they don't do it as a proof for His evidence, His existence. The signs in the Old Testament, as we're going to read and see, it presents the signs as testifying to the presence and purpose of what? Of God. But they don't do it in such a way that they prove His existence. It is for that reason that we will never use the Bible to prove the existence of God. Although there are signs and wonders in the Bible. They prove evidence. The evidence, the way laboratories do. You do this and this and this, and then you see this is carbon. Do this and this and this is water. You cannot use that. Now, that one, the book of the Old Testament presents it, starts with it, and then it finalizes in the what? In the New Testament. Now let us read. Let us go to Exodus. Exodus chapter. No, let us go to Deuteronomy 6:22. We begin with Deuteronomy 6:22. 6:22.
6:22. It says, and the Lord showed signs and wonders, great and grievous, against Egypt and against Pharaoh and all his household, before our eyes.
Before our eyes. You have heard that? Then now let us go to Numbers 14:4. You listen. They have showed them signs and wonders when they were in Egypt.
14:4.
Yes, 14:4.
And they said to one another,
Mm-hmm.
let us choose a captain and go back to Egypt.
You read it again. Maybe people have not heard.
Numbers 14:4.
Uh-huh.
And they said to one another,
Uh-huh.
let us choose a captain and go back.
To Egypt. The signs and wonders that happened in what? In Egypt on behalf of the Israelites. None among them brought faith in them. They were given in such a way that they do not convince. So there were two groups of people in Egypt. Number one, the Israelites. Two, the Pharaoh, who was the direct audience. I mean, they were meant to change Pharaoh's heart. Now the question is, whom did they change? Now we come to Pharaoh. Let us read Pharaoh. Whom did they convince? Exodus 7:22. Exodus chapter 7, verse 22. And then 8 and 7. 7:22.
7:22 says, but the magicians of Egypt did the same by their secret arts. So Pharaoh's heart remained hardened, and he would not listen to them as the Lord had said.
His heart remained hardened, and he did not listen as the what? The Lord had said. We also read 8 and 7. Chapter Exodus 8 and 7.
Chapter 8, verse
7.
Verse 7. But the magicians did the same by their secret arts and brought frauds upon the land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh called Moses and Aaron and said, entreat the Lord to take away the frauds from me and from my people, and I will let the people go to sacrifice to the Lord.
You can end here. What we're trying to say is this, that the people, the signs and wonders done in Egypt were meant to influence Pharaoh. To call, the way we see them, the way we approach them is to convince. But actually, they did not convince who? Pharaoh. So they did not convince anyone. They did not convince Pharaoh, nor do they tell the Israelites to believe. After some time, the Israelites wanted to go back to Egypt. They began to long, even in the pots. They were not convinced. They did not believe to the extent that they even craved for the pots. For the pots. That is Numbers 11:5. You read that. They even craved for the pots. They used, as slaves in Egypt, in their tents, those pots they had, the food they would get, the fish, they craved for that. Can you imagine?
Fine. We remember the fish we ate in Egypt for nothing. And cucumbers and melons and leeks and onions and the garlic. But now our strength is dried up and there is nothing at all but this manna to look at.
Can you imagine? They long for that. You see, the signs and wonders didn't do anything at all. So what are the authors of the Old Testament trying to present before you approach the New Testament? You see, they are saying miracles or signs and wonders are indications of God's presence and purposes, but never a final proof. So they are given ambiguously. God gives signs and wonders with ambiguity. You understand? So he gives them in an ambiguous way that it will need every individual. This is the call. This is the call that God is making, that every reader of the Bible must make up his mind to believe. Belief is making up your mind. Believing in God is making up your mind. Because signs and wonders will never give you faith. They are not given neither to convince nor to make you believe.
Why are they given?
It is your role. God has left it in your hands to decide to believe. Seasons, seed time and harvest, day and night will never end. Signs and wonders will always be there, and they are regular. He will always give them regularly. You understand? Ambiguously. Regularly and ambiguously. Because you have seen that according to the Old Testament, signs and wonders, everything is a potential sign. Everything. From birth of a child to what? To the death of what? Of a child. Everything is a potential sign. It can happen that thing is testifying to the presence and purpose of God. But it is given ambiguously. So, reading the Bible interpretatively, imaginatively, should express the conviction that Yahweh is in action on your behalf. The way the Old Testament authors did. That when they wrote these things, they wrote them imaginatively, interpretatively. They wrote these events, interpreting them. They wrote these events plus the concept of what? A fraction of imagination. Remember, they are in the past. There are many years we were wrote there. So they are writing them, interpreting them. But in their interpretation, what you should go with, you shouldn't be lost in the fact that did they really exist? Did they really happen? You should go with the fact that they had the conviction that at that time Yahweh was active on their behalf to save them. So whenever they would stand that, remember that you were slaves in Egypt. Remember, and then this God came. Ambiguous as the signs were, he delivered us. You understand? So they always had the conviction that he delivered them from slavery. And that's what built faith in them. That this God was with them regularly, irrespective of their what? Being honored of with them. Their faith did not come because of the events he did in Egypt. No. Because of the signs and wonders. No. But the conviction, the interpretation, because that this God brought us out of Egypt. God will always act for sinners regularly, consistently. He will never destroy them. And he does that ambiguously, leaving them with an opportunity to decide to believe in him. God bless you.